Australia's southeast has been copping a drenching with some parts in New South Wales, recording the wettest start to a year in nearly a decade, and shovels are expected to be in the groundwork on some regional dam projects. For more, New South Wales Water Minister Melinda Pavey joins me now. Melinda, what's the latest there on rainfall throughout New South Wales?
I've had some exciting reports through the central west of New South Wales today. And God, Pete, do we need it there? We're down to really low levels at Wyangla Dam, Burrendong Dam, servicing Dubbo, Wyangla, Cowra, Forbes. So I can't wait to wake up in the morning and get what the dams have increased by. I mean, the good news is we've had some storm rains over the past couple of months. So hopefully we've wetted up the ground enough to see some significant flows into the catchment. That's what our fingers are crossed for, because we do have that issue. People in Sydney think that the drought is over. And those of us in the bush know it's a far way from being over. We've got COVID, we're dealing with that, but don't worry, we haven't forgotten our commitments and the work that we need to do to get some pipelines in the ground, particularly around Bathurst and Orange. We've got some really big challenges there, but hopefully this rain that we've seen today and hopefully follow up over the next couple of weeks will relieve some of the pressure that our magnificent communities are under.
Are we still? What's the status of water restrictions? Are we still needing some water restrictions somewhere?
Oh, certainly through the guts of New South Wales, for want of a better word, we're still facing very severe water restrictions. We're still on level 1 water restriction in Sydney, but, you know, we are at a really pleasant place in terms of Warragamba Dam and our catchments along the coast. We've also had amazing rains and going down the Darling River in the far west of the state. But as I say, our big regional cities like Tamworth, Bathurst, Orange, Dubbo, Cowra, Wagga Wagga, and we've still got really big challenges in delivering general security allocations through the Murrumbidgee and the Murray unless our dams fill up. And we're having really good conversations with the Commonwealth. I intend to have other conversations with Victoria, with their Water Minister. You know, this is a very unique situation, not one that we want to be in with COVID, but also not having farmers for 3 years in a row having allocations. And I think we need to have some mature, sensible conversations around that, whether it's with Sunrise or our dairy farmers or crops and fodder. We need to be able to support our farmers with Australian-grown produce, and we're leading some conversations with the Commonwealth on that, even Riverland farmers in South Australia. We're in a diabolical situation in terms of drought through the centre of New South Wales and allocations through into spring and summer, unless we get some substantial rain.
Now, Melinda, part of your portfolio, of course, is housing and property. What are you sort of suggesting might be the impact of the coronavirus, the COVID-19 sort of impacts on the property market, particularly in New South Wales? Are you expecting that it will have an impact?
Well, I think we're seeing that impact, and our real estate agents are telling us that we're not able to have our open house inspections. But, you know, whilst we have an incredible response from the Commonwealth and our state government with Gladys Berejiklian, we also need to be thinking about how we supercharge our economy and create jobs and opportunities post this crisis. You know, one of the positive things in not closing the whole economy down is we've still got builders on the job paying their wages, paying the tradies, paying the subbies. I was at Maxwell Hospital yesterday. We're 6 months ahead of schedule, and if we had have closed the whole state, we wouldn't be finishing off the construction of that new hospital that's actually going to provide an alternative arrangement with 2 hospitals in the district with a large aged care population here on the mid-north coast. We might need both those hospitals to see us through this. But I think it's important, and we've been having lots of conversations with the Treasurer in New South Wales, Dominic Perrottet, to look at ways we can supercharge our economy out of this so we can create jobs and opportunities. So whilst we've got our frontline ministers doing an incredible job dealing with this on a day-to-day basis, I want the community to be assured there's some great thinking and some great plans going on in the background to ensure we have cash that we can put through the economy to create jobs, create new houses, create new opportunities so that we can see the end of this as we go through it.
What were you doing in Broken Hill recently?
I was in Broken Hill. I went to the Priscilla Queen of the Desert Hotel, by the way, but we were there to talk to communities. We were at Pooncarie, we were at Wentworth, we were everywhere just watching that water come down the river. We were at Menindee Lakes. We're actually going to have an overflow at Menindee. It's going to go into the dam next door. We've had so much rain. We've now got 12 or 18 months of supply along the Darling, even if it doesn't rain again. But we are hopeful that we are going to get some strong rains. We return to some normality. We've had too many dry seasons over the past 10 or 20 years in New South Wales. If we can just go back to a bit of normal, then we'll have some more security and opportunity. But I've got to say, having been in this portfolio now for 12 months, it has been my favourite day on the job, seeing the water come down the Darling.
I'm sure it was. Now, I mean, we're in an imperfect world. This is the crisis of our generation, of our lifetime. And of course, I think the Berejiklian government has done a terrific job with drought, with all the bushfires, everything that's happened in the last sort of 12 to 18 months. But the Ruby Princess you guys haven't covered yourself in glory with that, have you?
Look, I think we're all in uncharted waters, for want of a better expression. There is pressure everywhere, and everyone's got to do the right thing. Everyone's got to be honest in this, and I think there's no point in finger pointing. Cruising is a part of our lives, of our communities. I've got a lot of people in my own community that have come off cruise ships in recent weeks that is having an impact. But we can point to something that hasn't gone right, but we can also point to a lot of things that are going right. And I just want to point to our communities. They have taken this in their stride. As you said, a once in a generation or 2 or 3 generation crisis, the likes of what we haven't seen. And just listening to the comments and the emotion of our Prime Minister Scott Morrison just now, talking about the conversations we've had with our grandparents around the Great Depression. I've now lost all my grandparents, but it is important for us to recall those conversations, to know that people have done it tough with diphtheria, with whooping cough, with polio, but we need to be strong, and we need to listen to the advice that governments are giving to us. Wash our hands, keep that social distance, keep your exercise up, just be sensible, and we will come through this in a way that we will be a stronger nation for us. I think, one of the things, if there is one little, beacon of sunshine or light, is the fact that, we've all been able to spend more time with our beautiful families and remember what's really important to us. And I have cherished every moment of that, to be honest.
Yeah, well said, well said. Great to see you, Melinda Pavey. Always a pleasure to have you on Sky News across Australia.
And pray for more rain too, as well as a vaccine for COVID.